Hello and welcome to day 12. This is Jasmine Polly from Wellness Vision with you again. Now, I hope you found yesterday's video useful, all about phase 1 liver detoxification. I think this stuff is really crucial to understand because there's just too much misinformation out there. You're led to believe that the only way to detoxify is if you take, a detox in a box. And that's not true. Your body is able to detoxify all of these chemicals out of our system given the right support. So let's jump on in and talk about phase 2 of liver detoxification because that's where a lot of the really crucial stuff happens. Okay, so just a little bit of a refresher. So as we spoke about yesterday, you've got, say, the toxin that comes into the liver. Then goes through phase 1, which actually primes the toxin ready to go into phase 2. But this makes it more damaging to the body. So if we think about that, we've got the prime toxin. It comes along into phase 2, and that's when it is made water soluble so it can actually be excreted from the body. Now, in phase 2, there's 5 different enzyme systems which are derived from amino acids. And these enzyme systems are involved in different ways of detoxifying these chemicals out of the system. So one big component of this is if you think about what amino acids are. Now, amino acids are made from proteins. So when you actually think about a detox, that is the reason why on a detox I do suggest you actually eat healthy food, and I do suggest you actually get good amounts of quality proteins into your diet. A lot of detox programs actually restrict protein and actually say to cut out all meat and protein and do like a vegetarian-based diet. Now, that can cause issues because if you're already a little bit deficient in some of these enzymes, you're not actually going to have the building blocks there. And then if you start freeing up some of those toxins, they're not going to have anywhere to go. So that's why protein is important. Now, you don't want to have too much. Once again, it's about balance. So you just want to make sure you've got good quality protein and that it's there in adequate amounts. Other things that are really important for phase 2 detoxification are some of your B vitamins, specifically your folate. Now, I'm not saying folic acid here. There's a bit of a debacle about the folate versus folic acid versus activated folates at the moment, and that sort of depends on gene SNPs. However, folate from your food is fine for everybody. So as long as you're getting good amounts of folate, and that's generally your vegetables again, especially your green vegetables are really rich sources of folate. So that's a really great thing. If you think that you may lack in these things, and that's why maybe getting a good quality multi can help, multi B vitamin, because your folate, your vitamin B6 is really important. That's for hormone regulation as well as liver detoxification, and also B12. And a lot of people tend to be low in B12. Our absorption of B12 decreases as we get older, and especially if you have any gut issues, especially like celiac disease or upper gut issues, then like SIBO, then your B12 levels can be low as well. So these same vitamins are involved in methylation, which is a topic for another day. But anybody that knows that they have any methylation issues, that shows that that's going to go onto your liver function there as well. Now, those same vitamins are also needed in your phase 1, so you can see that that's really important just to getting these enzymes working, because they actually act as cofactors in there. There's some actual other natural herbs that can help as well, and these are things that you can put into your diet or you can supplement with if you need more support there. So something like your broccoli sprouts. So that's with the young fresh broccoli. You can get that in a powder as well. From good sources, but otherwise just lightly steamed broccoli sprouts is fabulous. Even raw ones are fine. It's more so when they get older that they're definitely like your actual broccoli heads that you really need to steam them. Turmeric. You've probably heard of turmeric as anti-inflammatory. It's also great for liver function, that phase 2. Green tea, here's another big one. So green tea actually helps with phase 2 upregulation. So if it, just stopping it from being too sluggish as well. So there's definitely some things that you can pop in, and milk thistle is one that you'd probably have to get in supplement, but it's quite easy to come by and it's fabulous for phase 2. Now, those same nutrients that I've just given you there, they're also antioxidants. So those ones are also going to help that intermediate stage. Like, why make it difficult, hey? So they can actually help with that. And all of them, except for the broccoli sprouts, as far as I'm aware, actually down-regulate that phase one. So they can help with balancing it if you feel that you're a bit toxic, in that area. So something that's really beneficial there. Now, one other thing I just want to touch on today is we spoke about not trying to put too much caffeine or alcohol in to support phase one. There's things that it has that will affect our phase two with that as well. Because phase two helps with detoxifying medications out of our system. It helps with detoxifying most of pesticides and other chemicals that we come across, chemicals that are in our cosmetics, our cleaning agents, our fragrances, all of that, our furnishings, off-gassing. But also just, in over-the-counter medications as well. One big one, there's one of the enzymes that I often see low in people is the glutathione pathway. And I know that that's a bit of a tongue twister, but glutathione is run by the enzyme glutathione. That's what they make it from. Now, glutathione is one of our main antioxidants in every cell of our body. So it's really, really needed. And it's actually decreased by paracetamol. So if you're somebody that's having, popping a Panadol quite regularly, then that's a pathway that you may need to look at specifically supporting. But obviously, if you don't need to take the Panadol as often, maybe try to really cut that back, because a lot of people think of these things as being quite innocuous, having no real negative impact, but they definitely do. Paracetamol always amuses me, actually, because even though we know it works so effectively for decreasing pain, they still don't know how it actually works. I know. So for such a, medication's been around for so long and they still don't know how it actually stops pain in the body. So when you think about that, you can sort of see that there can be all these other little actions that are happening in the body. We do know that the paracetamol, though, is cleared through that glutathionation pathway. So yeah, so be careful of that as well. Anyway, I think I've rambled on a little bit there, but hopefully you get the idea. Looking at adding spices, so I mentioned a few, but really trying to increase those colourful spices, herbs in your diet. Rosemary is another really great herb, and your fresh rosemary for phase 2 liver detoxification. So don't underestimate the power of your food. That's where we're meant to get our nutrients from. So try to start adding some of these things into your diet. Rosemary is one of the easiest herbs to grow. So even for somebody who's not great in the garden, which I'm not amazing with growing things, I still manage to keep my rosemary alive. So anyway, that's me for today. I'm going to touch back tomorrow to talk about, okay, so we've got the toxin all ready to go, but how do we make sure it gets out of the body? Because sometimes there can be issues in that area as well. All right, I hope that's useful. Bye.